to me, outstanding performance I've ever seen in the board team was Declan Pilkington that day. He literally hurled them on his own when everyone else wasn't playing well. And they were the two characters that really stood out for me on that team. And then, of course, we had the Ray Landy came on in the semi-final and got the goal as well. And Ray would be a man that people mightn't have forgotten a little bit about. But only for him, he would never have been in that final.
I suppose another man that contributed an awful lot over the years was Johnny Pilkington.
Oh, yeah, Johnny.
Johnny was an artist, really. He loved to give an image of not giving
Carefree.
a damn about anything, but by God, when the match started, Johnny gave his all, and he was instrumental in a lot of vital scores over the years, and kept up a standard of fitness that he loved to belie himself. He loved to say that he wasn't training at all and that he was doing this and that and the other, but he always produced it on the field.
I even got more satisfaction now in the All-Ireland club with Birr than I did out winning my own All-Irelands, because it was something special. There's something special about club hurling and about clubs winning. And as I said, we were lucky. We played on a day when the conditions were dreadful. It didn't suit the Birr team. We were lucky to get a second chance, but we took it well when when the players grasped with both hands when they got the second chance.
The great successes of 4 All-Ireland wins, as well for the club as for Offaly. I remember Micheál Murphy saying sometime, to put it in context, he said if anyone told him in 1975 that Offaly would have won 4 All-Irelands before the end of the century, they'd be laughed out of court. That was a success rate that was unreal, really, because even countrywide it isn't fully appreciated from what such a small base that Offaly were able to produce that level of success. And the club is in Birr as well, because Birr is only a small town. You have suburbs in Limerick and Cork and Galway that would be twice, 3, 4 times the size of Birr, and they don't even have a hurling.
We always felt that we were coming home to the capital of Offaly hurling was Birr Town, and the homecoming, and I think the homecoming of '84 when we lost the All-Ireland, that was even more special, because we didn't want to come home. We were after playing badly in All-Ireland final. We were beaten by Cork. We were the hot favourites going in, and we lost to Cork, and we didn't want to come home. And when we came back to Birr, the crowd lifted us, and I think that was the reason we went on and won the '85 All-Ireland. So, like, Birr would always be the heart and soul of Offaly hurling, because we, even out in Banagher, we still feel we're part of Birr. Drumcullen will feel the same, Coldderry, the clubs out around will always feel that Birr is their place.
I know a lot of people in Birr now who, out of sadness really, don't go to matches in Tullamore because they feel they should be played here in Birr.
When I was asked to take on the Birr job, I said I wanted 2 people who believed in Birr and who were Birr to the hilt, and I got Joe Verney and Mick Salmon with me at the time, and I think I would have to give them great credit. I think very few people might know that or remember that, but certainly for me, there were 2 people that I really appreciate the help they gave. And there was one man who used to come into Birr, even though he wasn't a Birr man at the time, was Joe Dooley. You always found him in Brendan's Park down there on the bicycle, and even when we were kids coming into play matches in Birr, they were always seen to be at those games. Whether their own club was involved or not, they were always at games in Birr, like, you know.
There are challenges definitely at school level, at primary school level. The teaching profession is changing very much. We can no longer expect from teachers what we got in the past. So I feel that clubs must do more to promote the games in schools, and they must have people going into the schools to take over, especially after school maybe.
But I would worry a little bit about underage hurling, and I think again it goes back to the board thing, the board pitch and that sort of thing, that we need to localise it a little bit more and start, as Bernardine says, bringing in some of our former hurlers. I know there are a lot of them are involved, and I would see them, they seem to be more involved in the board club than any other club. But we have to go back to basics again and start coaching at a very early age. Okay. Going back to when the games were played in Birr, I used to remember people coming in from East Galway because there was underage that time in Rhinos and Birr was terrific, like, you know. But as I said, there was a few people. Brother Vincent was brilliant. At that time, Jerv Fogarty in Rhinos was brilliant. With young people and
of course Patrick must get a lot of
and then Patrick came in, and when they brought the tournament together, I think he was the right man at the time because he was involved in both. You know, there was other people that had got involved wouldn't have been as good, I think, and they were mad to get involved.
While hurling is very much to the fore in Birr GAA Club, a small group of enthusiasts have kept football alive. Notable achievements include winning the Under-14A Football Championship in 1983 under the guidance of Liam Broderick. In recent times, the Junior A title has been won in 2001 and again in 2005, with both Martin Walsh and John Ryan as the key drivers. Birr are competing at intermediate level ever since.
So I decided I'd go down and see could I start up a football team, starting at junior level first of all, and hope that I would get an underage team out of school at the time. Approached the school at the time, and they were playing a bit of football, not a lot either, but. Eventually, anyway, I got a football team on the road. 79, then again, we won the Junior C again. At the time, of course, it was hurling football. You know, it was a kind of a... It was really a hurling club as such. And it's no use saying anything else. Hurling was the number one, right? So football was a pastime as such. So... around that particular time, the school changed over, and there was a Liam Broderick came into the area, and Liam, lo and behold, put the whole shoulder to the wheel straight away and got a Board and a Skull team out in football, a first, and lo and behold, they won the final of that year. That there would be 11-year-olds and under 10 and under 12.
The likes of Dahi Regan, Johnny Pickett and Brian Whelan and Gary Cahill.
Of the team now that was going to come along and win an A championship. There was amazing scenes at it. We wandered through our age group in the under 14 in 82, and we were beaten in the final by Clara. Lads, I have a loophole. Team list wasn't signed by the club secretary. We got a refixture and we beat Mickey Cormac. Was winning the 92 junior final, beating Tullamore after a replay. That was my biggest, that was brilliant as a player, and being a manager as well. It really set the whole scene for me. It was really brilliant, absolutely fabulous, that was.
Well, my playing career started, like most young people in Birr, with Brother Vincent in the national school. Brother Vincent would, no matter who you were, what your ability was, he brought you down to the brothers' field and he coaxed, cajoled and ensured that you started playing at the earliest possible stage. At that time, Brother Vincent was all about you playing, and the next ball is what he always encouraged you to do, and out I went and won the next ball. And that ultimately was the start of my playing career. And in August, I went to work one morning, Friday evening, it was a bank holiday weekend, and I was going out with my present wife at the time, and I was thinking probably of where I was going at the weekend. Probably had plans, the wrong thoughts as well. Yeah. And I got hit by 22,000 volts, and that changed everything. And then not being. And
around the same time, Ger Millen lost his eye.
Ger Millen was gone. He was down. Probably he was actually going down to see the girl he married as well. Midfield partners.
Two of them.
Pauline Kelly and Lustma. He met another car head on an Irish stretch, and he lost his eye. He went straight out to the windscreen of the car. No seatbelts that time. And Ger lost the sight in one eye. Birr actually had a really good football side. They were very fit, it worked both ways. They were fit because of the hurling and they were fit in the reverse physically. But he went down and you were going to, I think that Birr team was capable of winning the Junior All-Ireland for Offaly that year. I remember watching you in Brendan's Park. After the Birr lads had trained at senior hurling for an hour and a half, Martin must play a Westmeath team. Bunbrosna. And the match was at 1 o'clock. And it didn't start till 1:30 because Birr trained beforehand and Martin went out and that game went to extra time against Bunbrosna, and all of the lads haven't trained for at least an hour and a half before the match. You were really denied an All-Ireland junior. You know, and I'd say it was because the difficulty has been and always is the fear of winning would take the lads' attention away from their first love, which would be hurling. And as manager then, like, you don't get that many days in the sun in Birr with football. You get far more days, down days, than you do up days. But for all of that, to see those players that came through the system in Birr, that you brought around the country, compete with the very, very best in the country. You know what? There's no feeling in the world like it. It's fabulous. When you see and the reward of actually having the honour of being, first of all, appointed, and then to meet up with people from around the county, to act as your selectors, as your kitmen, as your physios, and to have the opportunity to choose the team that will represent our county has been a phenomenal feeling for me to be having given that honour.
I was thrilled to be appointed in '85 to my first senior final. And it was like if it was yesterday. Eugene Coughlin, the Dooleys, all the brilliant hurlers from Clarine, and the Corrigans from Kinnity. All the Corrigans, Delaney, and
Percy Glendon probably
really,
in goals, I think.
really fabulous, and it was a local derby, and it went very, very well for me. But in general, I've got loads of banter over the years with refereeing, and I've enjoyed the crack, and that's what I boil down to. It has kept me fit and going.